All right, what we have seen so far is the traditional model view controller design pattern. But this used to be the case until the time when we were having the user, it was a monolithic application. Monolithic application means everything was inside the same application, the controller, the model, and the view. And from the browser, from the request, the user was sending the request from the browser, and then the response was returned as an HTML. The response was returned as an HTML because this view is an HTML presentation, so it had the data. So the response was here an HTML. This was the case. So let's put it here as HTML response. In the traditional MVC, HTML response. But now, when we are learning the microservice implementation or the API development, then the response is no more an HTML. It is a JSON. Most of the time it's a JSON. So let's copy that picture and go ahead and put it here. So this is basically this was monolith architecture MVC design pattern where the response was HTML. That's what we saw. But now we are learning the API based development, the microservice architecture. So here things will slightly change. So what is going to happen is this. In the API architecture, in the API architecture of MVC design pattern, what will happen? We will still have the model, we will still have the controller, but the view will disappear. The view will disappear. And then the controller is returning back not the HTML response, but it is returning back the JSON response. JSON response. The JSON response is being returned. And now there is the the whole HTML or the cloud, the CSS and styling and rendering of the data. All this is now handled at the level of the client side on the browser. So here there will be an Angular app or React.js app, or normal HTML, CSS, JavaScript to render the JSON data. So this application now knows how to show this JSON response data. So now we got rid of the view, all the processing overhead that was done here by the view, and then the response returned. So that now the job of the controller is simple. It doesn't have to worry about which view to pass this model and then get the view back and return back the view. No, now the controller just receives the JSON request, takes it and interacts with model and returns back the JSON response. So now the request also becomes the JSON request. It's now going to be JSON request. So JSON is JavaScript object notation. It's a simple format, neutral format to talk to between client and server. And now the whole responsibility of showing the data, rendering the data is back to the client side application or browser side application or any single page application framework like Angular, React, Vue.js, or maybe a normal HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So this is the small change that has happened. So we are going to focus on this API based development, because this is old technology. This monolith architecture of design pattern is old technology. It's not followed anymore. So let's put a demarcation here. Hope you understood this. It's a very simple thing. Model, view, controller, design pattern. Responsibilities are defined with model and view and controller. They know what needs to be done. Controller facilitates all the things between the model and the view. There is no direct interaction between the model and view. This helps in achieving quite complex functionalities in a bigger application much easily and scale your application to the next level if this design pattern is followed.